it's one of those things where it's like you're doing corrupt things behind the scenes to enrich yourself, as I believe allegedly.
Allegedly.
All right, shifting gears into the main topic at hand, and that is this article. I don't know what you'd call it. An article, like an ebook. I don't know what you'd really call it.
Yeah, I mean it's from the Senate Finance Committee. I mean it's like a memo. I don't know what
like a proposal, a proposal of sorts. Again, right? Like it's more so. I took it more as making calls for certain things, and it got very specific about our industry. It got into overrides and dollar amounts of overrides.
Yeah.
Commission, like it got really specific. So Senator Ron Wyden is who's kind of listed on it as like the author. Ron Wyden, for those of you that don't know, is an American senator. He's serving for the state of Oregon, your home state.
Thanks for that.
And
I appreciate that.
And he's been
your home state. Your fault, Glenn.
He's held this seat since 1996.
Wow.
So we're talking
term limits,
almost 30 years. Of course, he's a member
of
the Democratic Party. Now, so basically, that's who we're talking about right now. Interestingly enough, I thought this might be interesting to note. There's an estimate that his net worth is somewhere between $15 and $20 million, depending on the source. Math there when it comes to what a senator gets paid. So
probably not too worried about the future of Medicare if you got 20 million in the bank, huh?
Right. It's one of those things where it's like you're doing corrupt things behind the scenes to enrich yourself, allegedly. As I believe allegedly. That's what it appears. And you're putting on this front that you actually give a damn about the little people. Right. That's what this appears like to me. That's kind of seems like this whole guy's MO.
In my opinion, that's like 101 for almost the entire government, in my opinion, is, they right, left, center, they all love to do that, right?
Right, absolutely. So
name of this bill is helping feed hungry children. And it's 10,000 pages long, and there's arms sales to foreign countries in it. It's like, it's all spin. There's so much spin, but yeah, this is crazy how detailed it got. I'm actually, you said this to me. I didn't have time to go nearly as deep into it as you probably did, but
I have a checklist to go through.
Let's go through this
about what basically is covered, in a nutshell. What have I always said, you guys? I read these things so you guys don't have to.
Thank God for you. Thank God for you.
Okay, so number one, Medicare Advantage plans are aggressively marketed. Seniors are bombarded with ads, mailers, and calls promoting Medicare Advantage plans, often making the plans sound better than they are. Yes, not as much now. Not as much now, though. I mean, CMS has put out some ruling on that I feel like is greatly kind of taking care of that problem, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I mean, you don't see any of the Joe Namath, Jimmy J.J. Walker commercials anymore. I feel like that was probably a 4 or 5 year ago issue for the most part, but it still happens a little bit. Okay, 2, a web of middlemen drives the marketing. So they're talking about FMOs, of course. They mention FMOs in the document. So it was very final rule-y 2024 to me.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, there's a layered system of marketing firms, lead generators, and brokers working together. Insurance companies outsource marketing to these entities to reach more seniors. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Like legitimately, right? Like,
yeah.
If the argument is there is unethical marketing taking place, okay, focus on that. But what's wrong with like using a marketing company to help you market if you're not good at marketing? Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Marketing should be illegal.
Right. That's basically like where how this reads to me. 3, profits drive the push. These middlemen are motivated by commissions and bonuses. It seems I think everyone's motivated by what their paycheck is. I don't know. Not necessarily by helping seniors choose the right plan. I don't think that's that's a blanket statement that I don't believe is true across the board. This leads to biased or misleading information being shared.
So what's interesting, so at the end of the document, there's actually a definition here for an FMO. I'm honestly surprised that final rule wasn't this succinct, right? Like, whether you agree or disagree with this, it's very simple to read, I feel like, compared to the nonsense that was final rule. There was so much legalese and complexities and contradictions in final rule, but this is actually, I feel like the average Joe could pick up this document and read it. But here's really fast, the field marketing organization definition. Field marketing organization, or FMO, is an umbrella term meant to encompass entities at the top of hierarchy, in quotations, top of hierarchy, including third-party marketing organizations. FMOs serve as an intermediary between brokers and agents. They employ between brokers and agents they employ and MA plans, and provide administrative support to brokers and agents. How do you feel about that definition?
I don't think it's fully complete, but it's more accurate than any definition I've ever seen from CMS.
That's what I would say too. That's actually pretty good compared to most of, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. 4 on my list. Misleading advertising is common. Ads and calls may leave out crucial details like network restrictions, drug coverage, and extra costs, causing seniors to enroll in plans that don't fit their healthcare needs. 5, lack of transparency and oversight. Many of these marketing practices operate in the gray area with limited regulation. Limited regulation? Where?
Can I go there? Can I go there?
Can I be a part of this other Medicare world that you're describing?
I want to be Mehmet. Where is it? Tell me where it is.
6, seniors often end up confused or misled. The result is that many seniors think they're getting more coverage or benefits than they actually are, and don't realize the downsides until it's too late. There's a lot of visual workflows, things like that. The call to action. The piece urges for greater transparency and stricter regulation of Medicare Advantage marketing pipelines. It suggests that policymakers should crack down on misleading ads and high-pressure sales tactics. They've done that. Yeah. I can't stress this enough. This is stuff that's already happened and is largely cleaned up. Require cleaner disclosures to seniors about plan limitations, because that's what we need, more disclaimers and more disclosures. Like, we don't already have 6 of those that have to be put on our email signatures and our websites, like in red on calls. Monitor and potentially reform how middlemen are compensated. Final Rule 2024. So first things first, like, what are your thoughts when you read this? Like, this guy seems to be, in particular, in his mind.
So here's the thing. We all know what, like, his perspective, his opinion, right? We all know what Senator Ron Wyden thinks. Mike, what I'm most curious about is, what's the traction look like behind this? Do we have any idea? What is this? Is this just like a small rogue group of senators that support this, or is this getting traction? There's also a series of recommendations at the end of this document that are pretty telling. Specifically, one that talks about what they feel should be the compensation for an MA plan.
Right.
It says a fixed fee should be established for all MA plan enrollments, and they said ballpark $150 to $200 per enrollment, with a inflation rider essentially attached to that number. So, it would tick up a few percent, 35% every year.
That's insanity.
It's crazy.
Because, like, if you think about it right now, right? Like, what's the MA compensation? Well, like, your renewals are probably going to be, depending on your state, between $300 or $400, right? A year. When you think about how much work goes into actually taking care of a client like you're supposed to do, $150 to $200, like, you can't stay operational at that.
Yeah.
At that cost. You just can't do it. And I'm sure, a guy like this who's been basically a senator for 30 years next year would not understand that. Doesn't understand profitability, doesn't understand the time. Like, for the agencies that are legitimate and the agencies that are doing a good job for their clients, there is a cost associated with servicing them.
Absolutely.
Hiring staff, technology, systems, phone systems, time, right? Can you put a price on the time of taking those calls? This
is crazy. Did you see they have an NMO down to LOA 1 list? Did you see that? This is wild. I did not see how detailed they got with some of this, trying to show kind of the trickle down override effect from this compensation. But again, I think like you're saying there, that's a big missing piece of this that when they don't understand when it comes to our industry is how it operates like a business. It's not just, one company or one agent, they get this one enrollment and now they're getting lifetime value, lifetime renewals without doing any work. The vast majority of these businesses are doing an incredible amount of work, especially from a retention standpoint. We talk about retention all the time. Retention doesn't happen without any work, not anymore.
Absolutely.
Back in the day that used to be the case. But to circle back around to that question, what do you think the other senators are thinking about this? Any ideas?
That's the thing.
Thoughts?
I have no idea. Yeah. I tried to dig into that and I couldn't find too much detail on it outside of this. But every time I've ever watched a committee hearing that's related to our industry, like the Oz one was a perfect example. I've watched others in the past before that. This guy is always like, it's almost like it's an agenda of his to paint insurance agents as slimy snake oil salesmen,
right.
Low life.